feeling a little festive today, so I'm going to make you a Christmas pudding. Now, usually when you're making a classic Christmas pudding, it can take up to 8 hours to boil, but I'm going to show you how to cook this in 1 hour using the Cook For Me touch. So essentially we're going to cook this pudding under pressure and the results are incredible. So it's a very simple recipe. In a large bowl, I've got some softened butter. To this, I'll add some brown sugar and some spices, some ground ginger, good amount of that, and some mixed spice, which is a combination of cinnamon, nutmeg, there's some cardamom in there, or you can make it yourself. The amount really depends on how prominent you want it in your pudding. So I like a good hit of spice in this. Some orange zest, very classic in a Christmas pud. And I know we do save this for our Christmas, but it's so hot at Christmas. Christmas pudding is just so comforting. It's fantastic to have as a winter dessert. So Christmas in July, why not make this from scratch? Okay, loads of orange zest in there. It's looking good. Love the smell of that. And I'm going to whisk this until the butter and cream has been nicely incorporated. Okay, that is nicely creamed and we can add the eggs. And I recommend adding 1 egg at a time just so the mixture doesn't split too much. So just incorporate it really well each time. That is looking good. Now for the dry ingredients. So I'm going to add some fresh breadcrumbs and half a cup of self-raising flour. All right, the base of the pudding is ready. So now for the fun part, the major part of a Christmas pudding, which is all the dried fruits that are incorporated. So we've got a really lovely mix here, sultanas, raisins, I've got some dried figs, and I soak this in, you know what I'm gonna say, brandy, because you can't have a Christmas pudding without brandy. Ideally, you want to do this overnight so they soften up nicely. So in with our dried fruit, and I like to add some walnuts too. So this time we're just going to use a spatula and we're just going to fold everything in until it's nicely combined. It smells so good. So I'm going to place this into this cute little basket. It's the perfect size for a pudding. I've just greased it. It's also non-stick, so it's just going to make it so much easier to take out. So we're going to take our pudding mixture and we'll place it in, and then we're going to just press down on it so it's completely compressed, so there's no air bubbles, so we get a nice dense pudding. So just use your spatula again just to press down on it. And some Glad Bake, just a small piece. And whenever I'm using Glad Bake, what I like to do is just scrunch it up, and that's going to make it much more pliable when we're placing it on top of our pudding. Okay, let's get cooking. So in the Cook For Me touch, I do have another little basket. So this is the steamer basket. So we're going to place that into the bowl. We're going to add some water so it steams and it doesn't dry out. And then in with our pudding, lid goes on, and this is going to pressure cook for 1 hour. Pressure has released, so now it's time for the big reveal. I can smell it. Oh, that smells like Christmas right there. So we're going to carefully take out our little basket, and just to ensure that it's cooked, I like to take off that baking paper, it's done its job, and just use a skewer, pierce it straight through the centre, leave it there for a moment, take it out, and if it comes out clean, you know the pudding is ready. Now it is piping hot, so we're just going to wait a little bit, cool it down, and then we can serve it. Okay, our delicious Christmas pudding has cooled down, and now it's all about plating this up. So because this is non-stick and I did butter it slightly, it should come out very easily. Oh, look at that. Just perfect. It's still just slightly warm, which is how I like to serve it. And then I've got some gorgeous raspberries here, so we can pop that on top. If you like, you could serve it with some strawberries, any other type of berry, even some fresh figs. It really depends on what season it is to what fruit you use. Okay, let them cascade down too. So pretty. And this is not essential, but it is traditional. So I've got a little brandy here, and that's what we used with our dried fruit. What I'm doing is heating it up, and you just want to just gesture it slightly, and you'll see it's already catching quite easily because it's high in alcohol. And then we just pour that over our gorgeous pudding. Wow, look at that. Isn't that the most beautiful thing? It's also just slightly caramelizing those gorgeous raspberries. And a pudding is not a pudding without lashings of homemade custard. That for me is an absolute treat, whether it's for Christmas, Christmas in July, or really any excuse to make it. It doesn't take 8 hours to cook. You can make this in the pressure cooker in an hour.